Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Excellencies, Ministries, distinguished participants, and other leaders who are here, I am very delighted to be back to the Economic Conference of CIMAT. I was here last year when we were discussing about joining the East Africa community, and I would like to take and express my deepest gratitude to the CIMAT University leadership for organizing this timely and relevant conference. This gathering really comes at a pivotal moment for all of us, just a few months after we have joined the East Africa community. And this inclusion marks a significant milestone reflecting the commitment of Somalia's leadership to joining the East Africa community. The EAC is primarily known as a trading union, but today I'm focusing on the common peace and security and stabilization policy, which we have to understand because peace and security are essential for addressing our current and future challenges. So I digged a bit deeper into the EAC peace and security architecture to look into how relevant it is to our context. Under Article 124 of the treaty establishing the EAC, member states have prudently agreed that peace and security are prerequisites to social and economic development within the bloc. And recognizing this as a priority, the EAC Peace and Security Protocol was formulated, and it identified over 20 objectives. These objectives are aimed at fostering regional peace and security, and they include things like combating terrorism and piracy, preventing genocide, managing refugees, controlling proliferation of small arms and light weapons, and combating transnational and cross-border crimes. These objectives, however, provide a robust framework for regional stability. Yet, the challenges, despite being commendable goals, we must acknowledge that these objectives, that there are significant gaps that hinder the realization of sustainable peace and stability in the East Africa region. The Achilles heel of our region, and indeed much of continental Africa, has been governance issues within the member states. The current EAC strategy on peace and stability tends to avoid directly addressing the challenges posed by poor governance, including prevalence of authoritarianism, widespread human rights abuses, exclusionary politics, and endemic corruption. Without significant improvement in governance metrics such as promoting democracy, the rule of law, human rights, and fundamental freedoms, EAC member states cannot, and I repeat, cannot effectively combat terrorism, prevent genocide, or even control their borders. Within the EAC, countries that have improved governance matrix enjoy durable peace and are comparatively more prosperous than others. To achieve sustainable peace and stability, we can draw inspiration and even lessons from some of the successful and thriving regional blocs, such as the European Union. The EU has boldly addressed political and governance issues within and among member states to achieve sustainable peace and security by placing the principles of good governance at the heart of its union. The EU serves as a model for the EAC. Empirical evidence overwhelmingly shows that sustainable peace and stability are inextricably linked to good governance, beginning with the values of the rule of law, respect for human rights, transparency, and accountability. Africa faces continental crisis in good governance issues. However, the EAC is demonstrably and qualitatively better governed than our other regional bloc, the IGAD, to which a number of member states, including Somalia, holds dual memberships. the EU, the African Union has attempted to structurally address some of the good governance issues through two mutually reinforcing mechanisms: the AU Peace and Security Architecture, known as APSA, and the AU Governance Architecture, known as AGA. Developed through extensive consultations among member states for years, both APSA and AGA offer the best roadmap to improving the continent's governance crisis. These frameworks, if implemented optimally, have the potential to propel the entire continent towards peace and prosperity. Regrettably, these frameworks often remain lofty goals on paper. The primary reason is that AU member states have habitually lacked the political courage and moral compass to hold each other accountable to governance principles that they themselves put together and they know is good for their own countries and their own citizens. I strongly believe that we in the EAC can learn valuable lessons from both APSA and AGA. Our region has better prospects than both IGAD and the AU as a whole, given the diversity of our population, the comparatively better governance structures we have, and the centrality of trade within the EAC structure. My first proposition then would be to adopt APSA and AGA principles at the regional level to address some of the governance issues we have. This approach would, in my view, lead to a sustainable peace and stability that are prerequisites for prosperity. Taken together, these steps, in my view, would make the East Africa Community region a much more peaceful, much more prosperous region. It has been proven over time that there is no shortcuts to good governance. The best and the most tested pathway is to approach it from a good governance perspective. In conclusion, allow me to take another minute to express my deepest appreciation to the organizations and individuals who have contributed to this conference, who have worked very tirelessly and who have demonstrated that not only can they bring the best minds possible, but they can foster an excellent discussion to tackle this very important issue. Thank you very much.